2022 was quite the year for the Sonic the Hedgehog brand. After the second dark age of the late 2010s, Sonic was truly back on top at the turn of the decade. Sonic went from something that you'd find in a local comic book store at most, to something you can see being clumped in with Paw Patrol, Baby Shark, and Cocomelon, and all those bootleg, party appearance, mascot, Facebook Marketplace listings. And now we're at the end of this amazing year. The 60th amazing year, where I thought I'd go through the past 365 days and see all the highlights, with the best Sonic stuffs that came out this year, which can range from figures, to plushes, to games, to movies, to songs, to basically anything you could think of featuring the blue bum ass. And can you please subscribe, because it turns out 65.5% of you guys watching right now aren't even subscribed. I mean, the teachings from me should be in the curriculums of every single school in the country, so I mean, this is just bullcrap. But anyway, there's a ton to go through, so let's just hop right in. So coming at probably the worst of the best, we have Sonic Origins. And yeah, I think y'all know why. This is quite the odd release, since it seems so simple, and yet of course being Sega they had to mess it up. Originally through my fairly moderate playtime, I didn't really understand why everyone hated this thing so much, but while writing this I decided to educate myself, and I think I now understand why people didn't really like it as much. And yeah, it's not that great. The moronic different releases, De Novo, which made the PC release run like ass flakes, the delisting of previous games, the $40 price tag, etc. But even with this, I mean, this was still a pretty good time, at least for me. Though granted, I was on PS5, so I'm sure the glitches weren't as prevalent. So maybe I'm a bit biased and people on the Switch Lite had to see Sonic going through like 18 walls at once or something. But either way, at least we got these majestic and beautiful cutscenes tying the whole thing together. It doesn't matter what you think of the game, these are just incredible. I love how they actually tie the whole story together, it's so neat. Overall, I'd say this is a worthwhile collection, and it's probably worth the money. But still, the amount of random problems this game has is far too much to talk about here, so I'd recommend checking out Burkuri Bro's video on the whole thing, since he's way more in depth there than I could ever be. And now I'd say here's the point where we talk about all the historic merchandise that came out this year, starting with no doubt the GE plushes that came out earlier in the year. My god, were these epic. Firstly, Gamma, who does look a tad wonky, but it's still super cool he actually got a plush. You know, one that isn't this. Then Emerald, which was completely out of left field, but greatly appreciated. And he's done great. He looks surprisingly good in plush form for being a robot. Then Whisperer, who is just hell yes. After Tangle in 2021, she was kind of inevitable, but I'm so glad she got a plush here. And she just looks fantastic. She's so accurate. Then Mephiles, like, bruh. Friggin' Mephiles the Dark got a plush in the year 2022. Like, man, this is just insane. He was done great, too. He looks super nice, and it's pretty faithful. Then Dark and Hero Chow, like Hooga Booga. The only plush of Hero Chow up until that point was, of course, the mythical SA2 one. But I mean, hell, now you can just buy one on Amazon. Like, makes you question what timeline we're even on at this point. My god. And then after those, we get on to good old Jakks Pacific, with what's easily one of the most hyped Sonic figures of all time, Jakks Pacific Rouge. This thing coming out was a literal event. Banks closed, school was closed, the whole country just marked it as a national holiday. After over a decade with the only real Rouge figure being this very expensive toy-on figure, but finally this mainstay of the Sonic cast got the attention she deserved, and she was done right, with a fantastic sculpt, great articulation, and two big massive personality traits. She just looks dead on and is everything we could have wanted from her. They even gave her a damn bat bomb, they cared that much. And this was great confirmation that Jakks wasn't hesitant to do more girl characters after Amy. And now we're confirmed to get characters like Blaze, which is just awesome. Basically a dream release here, absolutely sick and well worth the wait. But that goddess just pales, no, trembles before our Lord E123 Omega. This man is above man. He is just in a whole nother dimension of hype. After the announcement that literally broke realities, this man in hand is just phenomenal. An exact replica of what he looks like in the games. Great size, amazing articulation, and goddamn 123 Omega, he's fucking real. I mean, Rouge at least had an action figure, but this man had nothing up until this point. I mean, hell, even if they made one of Gamma right now, it wouldn't be as crazy. He at least had one from Resaurus. Plus, he just fits in so perfect with the other characters. You can finally have Team Dark all on display together. It's truly magical. Maybe he could have been a bit bigger, but I mean, you're getting this whole chunk of a man for only 10 bucks. That's already a steal. I still can't believe this guy even got made. Like, out of all the characters they could have done, they did frickin' Omega. I mean, imagine going back like 5 years later to yourself playing like Sonic Runners or something, and you just tell him, yeah, look at this. After those, there's a couple more figures to talk about, like the Sonic 2 McDonald's toys and their oddly existence. Like, these just look wrong, but I don't know, there's just something I kind of like about them. I think it's just the hype surrounding the movie at the time that these were just so cool to have. I mean, hell, this is one of the first times we actually got to see movie Super Sonic, so that was really cool. I mean, plus it really shows how far Sonic's come when this MF's appearing at goddamn McDonald's. Though our heart goes out to the many Europeans who are stuck with the crappy paper toys. But no matter what, the infinitely better Sonic food option this year was the Sonic cereal. I mean, this stuff was just legendary. After Mario got his and then there was Pokemon, it was just like, where's Sonic? But that day came and it delivered to hell and back. It had a great idea with those Cheerio-looking rings that tasted like honey, and then the marshmallows, which were pretty nicely shaped. Though I think it took everyone about 3 months to realize that this is supposed to be Sonic's head from the front. Thought it was a Star of David or something. And yeah, I'd say the cereal is pretty good. I mean, they're no Fruity Pebbles or anything, but if you tied me down and told me to eat them while pointing a gun to my forehead, I probably would. Same with the Sonic fruit snacks that are released alongside. These weren't nearly as impactful as the cereal, since they're just the same gummy cookie cutter template that's used with all the other brands, but they were still good, and the box matches really well with the cereal. In addition to merch and such, the Blue Man also had a few collabs this year, but none are more substantial than the fabled Sonic Fall Guys crossover. With how much Fall Guys was doing collabs, it was only inevitable until Sonic would be there, but when he did, it was epic. You had 5 new skins, all done great in the Fall Guys style, some extra cosmetics, and most importantly, an entire new game mode. One in which you try to collect as many rings as possible in the new Sonic themed map, and it was really fun. It worked really well with the Fall Guys physics. It was so cool to run around with friends and try to collect as many rings and find out all the strats. It was so awesome. It was a truly S-tier collab. And beyond that, there's some stuff that came out this year that wasn't even official. Like, of course, Crushing 30s. I already talked about this and some of the other stuff that came out to death in the Sonic Fan Animations Part 2 video, so go check that out if you want to see some more epic crap. But this thing was just insane. The song's an absolute bop. Johnny G-O-L-E, I still know how to say his name, really gave it his all here. And it sounds just like all the other Crush 30 songs. Oh my god, the name of it is just Crush 30 with an ing, and the 30 doubles as 30 years and Crush 30. I just realized that, Jesus Christ. And with a fully animated music video done greatly, with original designs, characters, and locations, great humor, extraordinary detail, this thing is just one of the best Sonic fan works to ever be produced. Now before we get on to the final 3 biggest things I want to bring up, here's a bunch of smaller things that were definitely noteworthy that I want to include. So let's just kind of rapid fire these, starting with IDW Sonic reaching issue 50, Tails Tube and its really unique concept, which gave us a bunch of cool character moments and lore corrections, which were very appreciated, though we still don't know who the hell that one random lady was. Both Sonic Frontiers cars existing, the Phila Sonic 2 shoes finally making Sonic's movie shoes real when there's not literally 5 of them, the Sonic Chia pet, an actually good 2.5-inch classic Sonic, Yuji Naka getting f***ing arrested, the Sonic Monster Hunter collab, and much, much more. And now that leaves us with the top 3. The 3 biggest and most iconic pieces of Sonic material will be released over this year. Starting with the most recent of the 3, Sonic Prime. After having like no news whatsoever for what seemed like an eternity, it finally released on December 15th, 2022. That is after the 5-day early preview via Roblox, but that's besides the point. And goddamn was this cool. I honestly didn't have super high hopes for the show, mainly since it seemed just kind of like your average Sonic romp, but was I pleasantly surprised. This thing just hit different. The plot, while kinda dumb, kept me intrigued throughout. It was so cool to see all these new versions of the characters in all these different settings, like Nine, Rusty Rose, Thorn, and Dread. They're all awesome and have fantastic designs. Like, the pure concept of a robotic cyborg evil Amy sounds really dumb, but it worked so well here. She was so cool. And plus the writing was surprisingly deeper than what I expected. Okay, it's not like Attack on Titan or anything, but for what I and many others expected to just be a generic standard kid show, this was a very welcome conclusion. Sonic actually blames himself for all kinds of stuff throughout the show. And like I said earlier, I love seeing Sonic getting his ass kicked and having him actually down on his luck. And his character, while a bit overly obnoxious, is really nice. This is most definitely Sonic the Hedgehog. I really hope I didn't just start a Twitter war, my god. Everything from the animation, kinda, to the characters, to the future merchandise is just so cool and was well worth the wait. Then for the next up, we got what else but one of the greatest Sonic games to be released in years, Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, I just said that. I can just show the normal background gameplay because it's Sonic Frontiers, yay. After being shown over a year ago now, and hyping fans up with a huge marketing campaign, with those 2 cars I mentioned, the many billboards, and of course the Coco plush. It all added up to the reckoning day of November 8th. The game finally released and it was frickin' amazing. I know not everyone loves the game, but you know what, I don't even care. The gameplay, the music, the characters, everything about this game is just the definition of hype. This game just feels like you're playing a movie. It is such an experience. I love running around this giant open field and having all these springs and bumpers everywhere. It really feels like you're actually Sonic himself. It really feels like these worlds are natural instead of just being some magical, whimsical, loop-de-loop hovering platform land. There's mountains and hills and all these grass and everything. It feels like an actual terrain. And just running around it was such a cool and unique experience we'd never gotten in a Sonic game before, I don't think. I was on the edge of my seat in a lot of places. It was just insane. Stuff like the Titan battles are just, I'm hanging on to the other side. I won't give up till the end, man. I had a blast with this thing. It's easily one of the best Sonic games ever made. I'll die on that hill. And Sage is adorable and must be protected at all costs. And finally, the creme de la creme. What I can assume most other people's favorite Sonic thing to be released this year. The amazing, the spectacular, the downright historic film experience, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What even needs to be said? From start to goddamn finish, this thing is just non-stop hype. Plus amazement, laughter, and overall just greatness all throughout. This thing just nails everything for Sonic fans, and it's the first film's greatness amplified on like 18,000 pounds of steroids. The characters were all better than ever, they're all lovable and relatable, and you can't just help but root for everyone on screen. The stakes are even bigger with tons of stuff implemented from the games, the cast and performances are at full power, Jimothy truly goes hard here. The ending was phenomenal, getting to see Super Sonic in 8K real, and overall it was just truly peak cinema. I don't think many other Sonic things will ever truly compare to this thing if I'm being honest. Like, this thing just hits the mark for Sonic fans all over the planet. I know that some people didn't like it for some reason, but you gotta remember there are some people out there who are just plain stupid. I don't really see how many things in the future are gonna top this. Besides one thing. So there's a recap of Sonic's great big 2022 adventure. This was just one hell of a year. It seemed like it was absolute insanity week after week. It's gonna take a lot for the future to hold up to this. 2021 ran so 2022 could break the sound barrier. It's gonna take a lot for the future to hold up. But if it pans out like this year, I'm sure we're in for a great future for this non-existent rodent brand we can give our money to. I cannot wait to consume more product. But anyway, tell me what your guys' favorite thing here was. And I'll see y'all in the new year. Here's the part where I was in South Carolina, which is like 1,000 miles from my home for like 2 weeks, so I couldn't make this video and get it out before the new year. Now it's the new year, so now that ending doesn't make sense, so I'm just gonna improv this last little outro part. I usually look around my room when I don't have an outro planned, and then I scream or say something really stupid about some random thing I see, so I'm gonna make a joke about the box to the Marvel Studios Doctor Strange Infinity Saga Eye of Agamotto Marvel Legends replica sound effect thing. This thing's like really cool. It like the eye opens and you can like press the button and it's like really cool. Go watch Avatar: The Way of Water or I'll kill you.